talk briefly about water heaters and, more importantly, water temperature. Water temperature is one of those things that can be a hazard in your home and you might not even know it. There's basically two ways to heat water: electricity and gas. Gas is the most popular in the US because it's the most efficient. Electric is more expensive, but with the advent and the popularity of solar, electric is becoming much more popular. Of those two ways to heat water, there's basically two different types of water heaters. Tank, which is the most common in the US, and then on-demand or tankless. Tankless is catching on in the US. It's more popular in other countries because a lot of those areas don't have the space to put the big tanks like we do, but tankless is getting more popular. It doesn't matter what kind of water heater you have. You want your water to be in a safe temperature range. That range is between 120 and 130 degrees. You want it to be hot enough to take a good shower and that's good for your laundry and helps your dishwasher get your dishes clean, but you don't want it so hot that it becomes a scald hazard. 120 is where I recommend. 130 you're starting to get up pretty warm. Once you get above that, it becomes a scald hazard not only for adults but for kids. That's what's so much more important. They burn so much quicker than we do. There's a couple ways to test your water heater. The way I do it is I have an infrared thermometer. Some of you may have these at home. Some people use them for cooking, things like that. It's an instant read thermometer, tells you exactly what the water temperature is. Or more often, you probably have a meat thermometer or a cooking thermometer. This does the exact same thing. You turn on the water, let it get hot, make sure it's at its peak hotness, use either thermometer and it'll tell you exactly what the temperature is. That way you know if you need to adjust your water heater up or down. If you do discover your water temperature needs to be adjusted either up or down, it's very easy to do. Gas tank water heaters like this usually have a dial right on the front that you just need to adjust up or down. There's a range usually from low to very hot. You want to be in the middle. There's usually a notch that says hot. You don't want to be at very hot. That high can be upwards of 100, 165 degrees. That is a scald risk and very, very dangerous. So you definitely want to turn it down. Electric tank water heaters have two panels on the front. They have two independent heating elements that need to be adjusted individually. They don't work at the same time generally. So you take a screwdriver, take the panel off, and then there's a little knob in there that you use a screwdriver to adjust up or down. The electric usually has degrees, like it'll say 120 degrees. So again, adjust them both to be the same. Very important, make sure the power is off to that electric water heater before you start opening because there's live wires in there. The easiest one to adjust is a tankless or on-demand water heater. There's usually a digital readout right on front or right next to it. You just hit the arrow buttons up or down. When it comes to tankless, they generally don't temp where you set them. So if you want it to come out at 120, set it at 125. 125, set it to 130. They just, for some reason, they don't temp up the way these do. Another reason to not turn it up too high is it makes your water heater work harder. You're heating 50 gallons of water to 160 degrees 24/7. That makes your water heater wear out much, much faster. So keep it in that 120 range and that's fine. Another time you can adjust it to kind of help save yourself some money is a lot of them have, like mine does, a vacation mode. What that does, you turn it all the way down to vacation mode. It doesn't turn it off, so it still heats the water, but it's a very low temperature, like 85, 90 degrees. That way, you're not heating this huge tank of water when you're gone for 3 weeks. Saves yourself on some utility costs. A lot of people don't do that, but it's not a bad idea. When you go out of town, just one of those things you can do to save a little bit of money. So the biggest takeaway today is safety. You want to keep that water temperature right around 120. If you go too hot, now you could have a problem with scald risk. Even as an adult, you could get burned quickly by water that's 160 or 150, 140 even. Just keep it at that hot range, around 120. It'll run very efficiently and it'll heat all the water that you need.